Hello, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I don't know if anyone is here or listening yet, but this is going to be a really fast stream. I just wanted to touch on something that I started talking about earlier today when I was live, and I got sidetracked from it. Um, I know that it probably seemed that I got super frustrated. Hey, Shell, super frustrated when people started um, speaking semantics about whether you can or can't speak, whether you're able to speak well, whether you're intelligent and eloquent and all of those things when you speak. I got super frustrated. Hello, Sky, because I actually have dealt with some issues with speaking myself. So I wanted to just touch on those really quick for anyone who doesn't understand, because I found myself getting frustrated again tonight in a stream where someone was saying, Kyle, speak to me. I know you can talk. Hello, Kyle. You came in and I'm talking about you again. Hey, Welby. I started getting frustrated again because here's the thing. It's not about semantics. It's not about whether you can or you can't. It's not about whether you will or you won't. Um, I don't know, Kyle, why you choose not to speak very often, and that's not my business. So this is not saying that this has anything to do with why you do what you do. I'm talking about my perspective and why saying to someone, I know you can speak, so do it. With selective mutism, what happens is that there becomes anxiety for one reason or another around speaking. This usually starts in childhood with a child who experiences a significant amount of anxiety, especially around certain people or certain situations. So you may have a child who has no problem and is like a chatty Cathy at home, but their teacher starts saying, "I can't get so and so to speak in class." So the situation there is that something about the school classroom setting is causing anxiety, and it does become physically impossible with selective mutism for a child to speak in these situations. It's not them choosing, it's not them being stubborn. It actually becomes a physical impossibility to speak at that time. Hello, cats. So, and other people have had it completely opposite, where they'll be chatty Cathys all day at school and come home and they won't speak. Yes, will be. And I have had my own experiences with it. It usually is treated and doesn't continue into adulthood. However, with my own experiences, it's something that I did continue to work on in therapy as an adult. Hello, Archer's mama. Hello, Mary. It is something that I continue to work on because I still struggle from time to time with feeling like I cannot. Kyle, I do when I'm working in the yard. So it's possible. We'll have to see. But as an adult, I still struggle with these urges that I try very hard to fight off, where I feel like I physically am becoming so that I cannot speak. And it used to be so bad when I was younger that as people would put the pressure on me, to speak, it was especially hard. I remember one time when we were working on a play. Well, William, I'm pleased to do it for you. And if you have anything you want to add, please do. Hello, Carolina. I was in a play, and of course, when you're in theater, people think of you as being, quite extroverted or dramatic. And there was one time where I had a line, and I don't know what it was about the line. There was nothing special about the line, nothing. It was just a line that for some reason um, brought me anxiety. And the more I had to redo the line, the harder and harder it became for me to say the line. And it was making me anxious. And it's a vicious cycle because the more anxiety you feel, the harder it becomes to actually physically speak. And so what happened is I basically, over some stupid line that was, I think, 2 words, I think it was the name of 2 women, Eileen, oh gosh, I wish I could remember. I had to say 2 female names in a sing-song manner, like Eileen, Elaine, or something, kind of sing-songedly. And it just, I don't know what it was. Even now, thinking about it brings me anxiety. I ended up having like a breakdown over it. I could not get the words out, and my drama teacher got very angry with me because, of course, she didn't understand. It doesn't make a lot of sense to people who don't understand. At the time, it didn't make a lot of sense to me why I was having such a hard time speaking. And she got very angry with me, and she said, just say the dang line or the damn line or whatever. And I lost it. I just started crying. I broke down. I could not physically do it. I could not find my voice. And so when I heard someone telling Kyle tonight, I know you can speak, so speak. Well, yes, we know Kyle can speak. But number one, if Kyle doesn't want to speak, no one should be trying to make him. Number two, maybe it's something like it was with me, where it is actually on some occasions physically impossible to speak, and all that trying to force someone to do what they cannot do is making them more anxious, and actually starting that vicious cycle. It does normally start when a child is in kindergarten. I don't know about necessarily that it starts in kindergarten, but I know that a lot of children, when they start school, it can be like a temporary adjustment thing where they do have a difficult time. But I used to get like physically ill sometimes when someone would try and make me speak, and it had nothing to do with the fact that I couldn't speak. As a matter of fact, I'm not trying to blow my own horn or anything, but I was a well-spoken child, and I was, intelligent, and my cognitive was all in alignment with my age and all of that. So, people assume that these types of things happen when there's a lack of intelligence or a lack of ability to speak or a lack of knowledge and vocabulary, and that's not the case. But I remember crying a lot because I could not speak, and I would get in trouble in class and things. So I was never one of those kids who got in trouble for speaking in class. I actually got in trouble for not speaking in class. Yeah, thingamajig. It's quite common that mental anxiety will lead to physical illness, to being physically ill. And then I just want to point out that Rita said, well, why does he want to be on panel if he's not going to speak? And like I told her, I don't know. He would have to tell us that. And if he doesn't want to tell us that, he certainly doesn't. Because anyone who doesn't want him on stream because he isn't speaking can certainly not have him up. But maybe he likes feeling like he's part of the stream, like he's part of the show. And I think we should all feel like we're part of it. That's why, we try and read side chat, and we try and respond to people, and we try to welcome people, because we want you to feel like you're part of this too, because you are. Otherwise, I would just be sitting up here talking to myself. So, we don't always have to know why people do what they do, as long as they're not hurting us. And the choice is still ours. If we want someone on our stream or not, then I don't see anything wrong with it. So is reticent to speak. Lots of reasons why someone does not. Exactly, Carolina. Well, that is wonderful, thingamajig. Yes, that he is excelling at sports and has found that as a means of probably expressing himself and getting some of that anxiety out, He is a welcome part of chat, as much as anyone else is. Yes. We're all grown-ups, and if we feel uncomfortable, we certainly can type or say or indicate in some manner that we're uncomfortable with some kind of behavior and don't wish to be included in it. And we have every right to do that. But as long as everyone is in here and speaking, anyone is welcome to come in and speak and to be acknowledged and to feel that they are part of what's happening. But I did want to talk about selective mutism, like I said, just super quick. I know other people are live, doing far more interesting things, but I wanted to take the time to explain where my frustration was coming from earlier. I know that I seem to get pretty upset in comparison to the real depth of the situation. Silent treatment is chosen, Black Velvet. Silent treatment is often used as a manipulation in a relationship that is toxic or not healthy. You choose not to speak to someone to make them feel a certain way. Mutism in itself is, the physical inability to speak. Selective mutism is not quite like mutism in that sometimes a person is able to speak, but other times it is honestly physically impossible for them to speak because of a heightened level of anxiety. And so they call it selective, even though you're not really selecting when you're going to or when you're not going to. It's kind of an automatic. You can liken it to like the fight, flight, or freeze. You can liken selective mutism to the freeze response. Fight is when you are going to fight whatever's happening. Flight is when you're going to run from it, and then freeze is when you're going to do nothing. And so it does become, virtually impossible to speak in that heightened state of anxiety. Exactly, Laura Lee. And I don't think there's anything wrong with discussing what we observe, as long as we do it in a respectful way. And I don't see anything disrespectful about what you said. That's what you observe. And, maybe if we welcome him and we don't make him feel, excluded, maybe someday we'll find out. Maybe Kyle will feel like sharing with us. That's certainly his business, and I'm not putting any pressure on him to do so. But, I find that if you're curious about people, if you make them feel welcome, eventually they'll let you know things about themselves. So, hey, Toodles. Will be. I think everyone gets everyone's names wrong from time to time. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on real quick and do that because I felt like a lot of people may think that I overreacted, and I feel like I overreacted, but it hit a chord with me when people were trying to say whether he can or can't or does or doesn't, and making the distinction between words that we're using, when in all reality, there are some times when people physically are unable to overcome the distortions or whatever they're going through with their anxiety, and it does become impossible to speak. It's not a choice. And I wanted to explain that. I know I don't have to, just like everyone else. No one has to explain why we are the way we are. But I think that when we decide to share these things with other people, it only helps for other people then maybe to take the information somewhere else and people to be more understanding and compassionate. I think so, Laura Lee. I think so, yes. Okay, guys. Hey, Gina. Yes, excluded or the focus of attention. And he has been the focus of attention recently, Carolina. And so, yeah, I don't want to make him super uncomfortable. That's why I wanted to like introduce myself to him because, you know, I was talking about him and I hadn't even met him officially. And so I wanted to introduce myself to him. And hopefully, as people become more aware of what's going on, and that he doesn't owe us anything. If he wants to be included, he certainly will be. Hopefully some of that focus will come off of him and we can all just get back to uh, the regular tomfoolery around here. Oh, her hats were beautiful, Lauralee. Definitely. Okay. Good night, Melanie. It's good to see you. Good night, everyone. Um, Go find something fun to do. Have fun. Get some laughs in before you go to bed tonight. And have a wonderful evening. And have the day you deserve tomorrow. Love you. Mwah.